All right, so number 46, it says scientists are studying a bacteria sample, and we're given the function given, and it gives the number of bacteria in the sample at the end of X days. Which statement best represents the interpretation of the values in the function? So the initial bacteria is 12. No, that's false. Our initial bacteria is 245. G, the initial number of bacteria decreases at a rate of 88%. That's also false. Our B value is greater than 1, so that's an increasing function. H, the number of bacteria increases at a rate of 12% each day. That's true. The number of bacteria at the end of day 1 is 245. That is false. The bacteria at the end of day 1 is going to be much larger because at day 0, our bacteria is 245. So our answer choice is H. Number 47. The daily cost of hiring a plumber to work X hours on a repair project can be modeled using the linear function. The plumber charges a fixed cost of $80 plus an additional cost of $45 per hour. The plumber works a maximum of 8 hours per day. For 1 day of work, what is the range of the function? Okay, so let's talk about this. I'm going to draw a graph. And this is our y, and this is our x. And our x is going to be representing the number of hours. And the y is going to represent the money. Okay. So if he works from 0 to 8 hours, so from 0 to 8 hours, okay, we're talking about a x value, right? So if 0 to 8, like in the answer choice A, we'd be talking about the domain, not the range. So we're going to eliminate A, and we're going to also eliminate C. Now, he charges $80 plus an additional cost of $40, $45 per hour. So if he works for 0 hours, then he will have made $80 minimum. So if I look at my answer choices B and D, D would be if I don't have that initial fixed cost of $80. Because remember, it's $80 X plus, sorry, not $80 X. It would be $80 plus 45X. So our answer choice is going to be B. Because if he works for 8 hours, that's going to give you the $440. Okay, so number 48. The graph of g of x is equal to x squared was transformed to create the graph h of x is equal to negative x fourths squared. Which of these best describes the transformation of g? It was reflected over the x-axis, yes. So g is definitely out. J is definitely out because our negative is outside the parentheses. So that negative being outside of the parentheses means that we're reflecting it across the x-axis. Now, it's inside the parentheses. Inside the parentheses, we're talking about a horizontal change. So that's going to give us, our verbiage here is horizontal or vertical. Since it's inside the parentheses, we're talking about a horizontal change. And in this case, our values, so this is like 1/4 x squared. Okay, so like negative. So remember that 1/4, that's between 0 and 1. When that value there that's next to the x is between 0 and 1. We're talking about a horizontal stretch versus if it's outside the parentheses, then that would be a vertical stretch. So our answer choice is F. And I'm going to do number 49 in the next video. Okay, so number 49 is not that difficult. It's just we got a lot going on here. Okay, so we've got this expression and we want to simplify it, basically. I'm going to go ahead and look at this. And I'm going to look at my left expression first. All right, so I've got 10 and 2. I know that 2 goes into 10 5 times. And I know q to the 5th won't go in the bottom. But I know when I talk about 7 minus 3, I know that that's going to go up because 7 is higher. So 7 minus 3 will give me 4. So that becomes w to the 4th. So this is going to be 5q to the 5th, w to the 4th, times, now, let's distribute. So we've got 4q to the 6 times 2 will give me 12, over w to the negative 5th. Now I can move that w to the negative 5th up because it's negative. So now this is going to become 5q to the 5th, w to the 4th, times 4q to the 12th times w to the 5th. 5 times 4 is 20. I can now do q and q, so 12 plus 5 is going to give me 2q to the 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, which eliminates really everything. Gives me my answer choice B. But let's go ahead and check. I've got 9w to the 4th times w to the 5th, which will give me w to the 9th. Number 50, graph of the quadratic function, which best represents the vertex of the graph. So all I'm doing on this one is looking at the coordinate point there, and that's the coordinate point 1, negative 2, and that's our vertex. So that is our answer choice J. 51. Got 2 points. 2 points, and we're talking about a slope of a line. That means we're going to use our point slope form. So I need to find my slope first. So m is going to be equal to label, so xy, xy. So I'm going to do 17 plus 11 over negative 9 minus 5. 17 plus 11 will give me 28. 9 plus 5 will give me 14. So 28 divided by 14 will give me 2. So m is equal to 2. And it should be negative 2. And that is our answer choice A, because it should be negative 14. Number 52. What is the solution to this system of equations? So I'm going to go ahead and use substitution. You can use elimination. I'm going to use substitution and substitute that in for x. So that's going to give me 7 times, actually we want to use elimination because if I substitute in, it's going to be easier. Just watch. Because if I substituted this in for x, that would eliminate, x wouldn't be part, and I'd be solving for y, and we're looking for what x is. I want to solve for what x is. So I'm going to rewrite this. So I'm going to rewrite this to become, I'm going to move my 2y over. So this is going to become negative 2y plus x is equal to negative 4. I'm going to rewrite the second equation. 7, let's remember we want to arrange these so that they're in the same order. So this is going to become 5y plus 7x is equal to negative 66. Okay, so I want to eliminate y. So I'm going to multiply this one by multiply this one by 5, and I'm going to multiply this one by 2. So now that's going to give me negative 10y plus 5x is equal to negative 20. Then it's going to give me positive 10y plus 14x is equal to negative 6 times 2 is going to give me 132. I'm just now going to add them together. So then that's going to give me 14 plus 5 will give me 19x. 132 plus 20 will give me negative 152 divided by 19. 152 divided by 19 will give me x is equal to negative 8, which is my answer choice 8. Which expression is equivalent? So I need to look at what is my simplify this radical, because it's not a perfect square. So I want to think of the perfect squares that go into that. I'm going to use my answer choices. I know A and B are not going to work. (96) is not a perfect square, so that won't be worked. So I'm going to do 96 divided by 6. 96 divided by 6 is going to give me 16 times 6. That's the square root. Now the square root of 16 is 4, so then that leaves me with 6 underneath the radical. So my answer choice is D. And the very last question. Which of these has an x-intercept of negative 5? Okay, so, and which one has a y-intercept of positive 3? Goodness gracious. All right. So F has a y-intercept of 5, so that won't work. H has a y-intercept of negative 3, so that won't work. G has a y-intercept of 3, and it also has a x-intercept of negative 5. So G is my answer choice. And that concludes the STAAR review guide. As you notice, really quite easy. It was an easy test. Just review it, and I think you'll do just fine. Good luck. See you later.